All right, so here is another challenge, and we're going to learn how to use protected routes with loaders. So I already kind of went over how to use the protected routes using components and using parents. So this auth required would be a parent route, and it would only return the outlet if the user authentication is true. Otherwise, if it was false, it would navigate us to the login path. But this won't work when we're using the data layer API because since all of the paths are loaded in parallel, which means they are basically loaded in all at the same time using the loader function, what would happen is that what if the child element loads up before the parent? So maybe the parent would load up a second after and it would cover the page, but somebody could go inside of the network tab and actually access data that they're not supposed to have access to. So what we're going to do here is we're going to use the loader function with an async function inside of it, or the loader, I guess. I don't know if you'd call it a function or some type of, what is it called? I don't know the name of it, but basically we are going to say if the user is not logged in, we want to redirect them to the login page. So the way we can do this is pretty simple. We can say if is logged in. So if we're not logged in, then we can go ahead and import redirect, which that's already imported for us. So we can throw instead of returning, because if the user isn't logged in and is logged in is false, it's almost like a 400, which is kind of telling us, hey, the user isn't logged in. So we throw it instead of returning it, but in reality, both do the same thing. So I want to go ahead and throw a redirect to the slash login. And if we go ahead and run this, let's say I'm somebody using the website and I want to go inside of the protected. I'm like, oh, cool. I can go inside of somebody's account, which is obviously not how it'll work, but let's just pretend. So I click it and then I automatically get redirected to the login page because the user is not logged in. So I'm not logged in, meaning I have no access to this protected page. And let's say I have a workaround. I'm like, maybe if I go back, it'll work. But it won't. It'll just take us to the path that we were at before we tried to access the protected route. And let's just say I go ahead and I log in. So I put in my username and password, and then I'm like, all right, I want to log into my account. So now when we go home, I'm logged into my account now. So now I can go ahead and say, hey, let me check my profile or something. If I click, I get all of my let's say profile information or whatever is sensitive to me. So this is the secret, super secret info here. And I'm not sure if I returned null in the other example. I just want to check for that before I end this. So the demo went over how everything is loading up at the same time. So yeah, I guess I didn't. So we just returned null, and null is basically saying here, we can basically just render up what we were supposed to render. And since there's nothing really for us to render, it'll just load up this H1, which in reality in our project, it's going to be a component. But that's pretty much it for this challenge. I wanted to explain more, but I just don't have it at the top of my head. But that's pretty much it.